Alright, so moving on today with adding and subtracting rational expressions. Your big thing here is common denominator. Alright, so really when you start off with these problems, who cares about the numerator? Okay, take a look at your denominators. So we're trying to figure out, for our common denominators, what's the least common multiple of 6x squared and 9x. Alright, so in this case, 6 and 9, your LCM is 18. Your multiples of 6, 6, 12, 18. Multiples of 9, 9, 18, 27. And with x squared and x, your least common multiple is going to be 18x squared. So our first fraction here, we need to turn this into 18x squared. So the only thing we need to do that is multiply that denominator by 3. So that first fraction is going to get multiplied by 3 over 3. My second fraction, I have 9x, so to turn that into an 18, I need to multiply by 2. And I need to get an x squared there, so I got to multiply numerator and denominator by 2x. Alright, so I got to do a little distributive property up here. So that's going to give me 9x plus 12. Again, we have the same denominator here. 2x times 5x is going to be 10x squared. 2x times the negative 7 is minus 14x, all divided by 18x squared. Do a little simplifying in the numerator. We can start off with our 10x squared. We have a plus 9x and a minus 14, so it's going to be minus 5x. And then plus 12 on the end. 18x, all divided by 18x squared. No simplifying here. Sometimes you might be able to look for like a coefficient to factor out, but 10, 5, 12, there's nothing to factor out there. So that'd be your final answer then. Next up then, so number one is what we looked at yesterday. A problem like this, we haven't looked at anything like it. So again, this is my original problem right here. So it's when you look at the notes then. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is figure out what are these denominators made of. Okay, so do some factoring. Like I said back in November, I said we're going to be factoring the rest of the year. Sure enough, we are. My denominator over here factors a 21 with a difference of 4. So we're going to go x minus 3 and then x plus 7. So you want to start to think about, what are each of these denominators missing that the other has? So my first denominator is x minus 3 and x plus 2. My second one's x minus 3 and x plus 7. So they both have an x minus 3. But this one has an x plus 2, and this one has an x plus 7. So my LCM of denominators, you need to have one of each of these. So it's going to be x minus 3, they have that one in common, times x plus 2, times x plus 7. All right, so that's your common denominator. All right. So when you go to create these common denominators, you just want to be thinking, okay, what does this fraction miss out of the common denominator? It's missing an x plus 7. So I'm going to have to multiply the first fraction, by x plus 7 divided by x plus 7. I realize this is a lot of writing, but that's the way it goes. All right, and then my second fraction, I have an x minus 3 and x plus 7, so I need an x plus 2. All right, so to start to simplify all this, my first numerator, I'm going to do x times 3 and then 7 times 3. So I'm going to get 3x plus 21 plus 4x plus 8, all divided by my x minus 3 times x plus 2 times x plus 7. Final answer then, 3x and 4x is 7x. 21 plus 8 is 29. And that's my final answer then, 7x plus 29 divided by x minus 3 times x plus 2 times x plus 7. For now, we can just leave this. Later on, we'll start to multiply all that out, but for now, that's good to go. I just want to focus on, getting those common denominators here. All right, so next up, kind of the same thing again. We have 3x plus 5 divided by x squared plus 9x plus 20. So, again, first thing, let's factor. So again, that's my original. So we have 3x plus 5 divided by x plus 4 times x plus 5 plus 7 divided by x plus 4 times x plus 3. All right, so my common denominator here, I have an x plus 4 and an x plus 5. Here I have an x plus 4 and an x plus 3. So again, I'm going to need all of those. So x plus 3, x plus 4, and x plus 5. My first fraction, I'm missing an x plus 3 here. So I got to multiply numerator and denominator by x plus 3. My second fraction, I'm missing an x plus 5, so I got to multiply by x plus 5 divided by x plus 5. Oops, that's a 3, sorry. Okay. So, we got a lot of multiplying to do now. First up, you got to multiply these two binomials. So that's going to give me x times 3x, x times 5, and I got to do 3 times 3x and 3 times 5. So I get 3x squared plus 5x plus 9x plus 15. And then over here, I'm going to get 7x plus 35, all divided by x plus 3 times x plus 4 times x plus 5. All right, when we start to simplify that numerator, 5x and 9x is 14x, plus 7x is 21x, so final answer 3x squared plus 21x plus 15 and 35 is 50, all divided by x plus 3 times x plus 4 times x plus 5. All right, so it is a good amount of work. Remember, it's a 5 there. But you just got to be thinking with those denominators, what am I missing, okay? Keep your work spaced out. Don't try and cram this all in like one little tiny section of line paper. That's going to make things pretty tricky, I think. All right, so last one then. All right, so first up, again, you want to factor both the denominators here. So we have x minus 5 and x plus 5 minus. Again, this one's subtraction here, so we got to be careful with that later on. We're going to have x minus 5 times x plus 3 for that denominator. So as far as my common denominator goes, x minus 5, x plus 5, then we got x minus 5 and x plus 3. So we're going to need x plus 3 and then x minus 5 and x plus 5. So my first fraction, I'm missing an x plus 3 there. So we got to multiply the numerator and denominator by x plus 3. Minus, don't forget about that minus. Don't want to forget about that when we go to simplify everything at the end. We got x plus 5. We're missing x plus 5 over here, so we got to multiply numerator and denominator by x plus 5. All right, so next up, we got to multiply everything out here. So that's going to give me 6x squared minus 4x plus 18x minus 12 in the first numerator minus, we're going to get 3x squared plus 8x plus 15x plus 40, all divided by our x plus 3 times x minus 5 times x plus 5. So again, this numerator is going to be 6x squared plus 14x minus 12. Just trying to like save a little bit of work here as far as rewriting everything. Minus 3x squared plus 23x plus 40. So 6x squared minus 3x, let's write this all out. 6x squared plus 14x minus 12 minus 3x squared minus 23x minus 40, all divided by, and let's start to simplify this denominator. X minus 5 times x plus 5 is going to be x squared minus 25. All right, so trying to finish the rest of this up here, 6x squared minus 3x squared is 3x squared. 14x minus 23x is minus 9x. Minus 12 minus 40 is minus 52. My denominator is going to be x cubed plus 3x squared minus 25x minus 75. So that's completely simplified there. We got both these numerator and denominator in standard form. Okay, so you just have 2 practice problems for today. You do not need to turn them into me, but I'll have the answers right behind them on Schoology here on